Hi. Today we're going to talk about adjectives, and we're not going to talk about how my cinematography is not going to win an Academy Award. So if I'm a little bit out of focus or if you can't quite see everything, just remember I'm not going for the Academy, I'm just going to talk about adjectives. So let's go ahead and start talking about adjectives now. Adjectives is a word, it's the word in the sentence that will describe your noun or your pronoun. The adjective, those are going to be your words that make your sentence more enjoyable to read. It will tell you what kind or how many. It can tell you details like size or color or shape or anything of that sort. So let's go ahead and look at a few sentences that I have on the board, and let's see if we can start determining where we can find our adjectives. So let's look at sentence number 1. Few thunderstorms happen in winter. Remember, the first thing we want to do is kind of weed out what we already know. So we're going to go ahead and label our subject and verb. So if we're looking at this sentence, few thunderstorms happen in winter, what is our subject? That's right, it is thunderstorms. So we're going to put our S above our thunderstorms. What is our verb in this sentence? That's right, it is the word happen. So we have our subject and our verb out of the way. But remember, there's another thing that we want to look at before we start diagramming our sentence. Who remembers what is the other thing that we can look at in our sentence? Are you guys sleeping? Are you awake? Jack, thank you. What is the other thing we're going to look for in our sentence? That's right, Jack, it's the prepositional phrase. Do we have a prepositional phrase in this sentence, Jack? Carter, don't answer for him. He can do that all by himself. Thank you. Jack, what is our prepositional phrase? In winter. Absolutely right. So we are going to put parentheses around in winter. And Carter, I'll give you the next prepositional phrase when it comes up. So let's look at our sentence. Thunderstorm subject, verb happen, prepositional phrase in winter. So let's look at the word that we have left, the word few. What noun or pronoun does the word few describe? That's right, it describes thunderstorms. So that is our adjective. So we'll put an A, D, J right over here. And then we'll draw an arrow showing that that is the noun or pronoun that it describes. So let's look at our next sentence. Oh, before we go on, let's just remind ourselves, where did the adjective come in this sentence? Did it become before the noun or pronoun that it described, or did it come after? That's right, it came before. Most adjectives will come before the word it describes, but not always, which brings us to sentence number 2. Thunder is noisy. So let's go ahead and get our subject and verb out of the way. Our subject, of course, thunder, and our verb is. Now, what kind of verb is this? That's right, it's a linking verb. So when we have a linking verb, when some adjectives come after the words that they describe, when that adjective describes the subject but comes after the linking verb, we call that a predicate adjective or a PA. Remember, we've talked about that. A linking verb links the subject to the predicate adjective. So now let's ask ourselves, what is the predicate adjective in this sentence? That's right, it's noisy. And what noun or pronoun does it describe? Absolutely, it describes the thunder. Now let's look at one more sentence. Lightning causes power outages. Let's get rid of our subject and verb. What is our subject? Lightning. What is our verb? Causes. Now this is not a linking verb. This is an action verb. And when we have an action verb, sometimes we need to be on the lookout for a direct object. Remember, a direct object is a noun or pronoun that receives the action of the verb. So we would use the verb and then we would say what or whom. So our verb is causes. So we would say causes what or causes whom. Now, is there something that's being caused? Causes what? Causes outages. Absolutely right. That would be our direct object. Now we have to ask ourselves, what kind of outages does lightning cause? That's right. It causes power outages. So power would be our adjective. And what does it describe? Power describes the outages. Absolutely right. So as we go through these together, you're going to do some on your own. But in just a second, we're going to take a small commercial break, and I'm going to change up the sentences on my board, and then we will come back to talk about this a little bit more. So